Good day, peoples. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope everyone is doing great. I'm doing pretty good. I'm about to get some breakfast here before I get in boot camp. But what I want to do here, I want to make this video as a response to Mr. Kaufman's thread over on the link. And his question was, what is the best way to learn tones? And if we've learned a tonal language, what do we do? Okay, I think this is a really good question since we know that tonal languages are quite difficult to learn, especially for those who don't have a background or those who don't have experience studying those type of languages. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get my response and my opinion on this. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm gonna use Cantonese. I'm gonna use Cantonese since that's the language that I really focused on as far as like getting pronunciation, tones correct, being aware of the tones at some point. I know I have a lot of experience in Mandarin. I have more experience in Mandarin than Cantonese, but unfortunately, when I first started learning Mandarin, my attitude was different. I didn't really care about the tones because many of the Chinese people understood me when I spoke with them. So I didn't really care about improving my tones, although they weren't really that good. So I'm gonna use Cantonese since this is where I really my attitude started changing when it comes to improving tones and whatnot. So basically, when I first started learning Cantonese, I started with the Teach Yourself course. Okay, everyone knows what the Teach Yourself course is. I started with that. I went through the whole book. I think it took me, let me see, 6, 7 months, 8 months. How long did it take me? I think it took me like 9, 10 months or something like that to get through the Teach Yourself book as far as the listening and all that good stuff. So I spent a lot of time listening to the dialogues over and over again. On top of that, I was watching random stuff like videos, listening to the radio station, all in Cantonese, despite not understanding everything. Eventually, I started understanding words and phrases, but at first I couldn't understand anything. So I was just doing that to get used to the rhythm of the language, to become accustomed to the sounds, the pronunciation, the tones, you see. So I did that, and while I was working through the Teach Yourself book, I basically was reading out loud, and this is very important. It's good to listen, but you have to read out loud. You have to actually hear yourself produce these sounds. I can't stress this enough. So I know we say that there's really no best way to learn a language because everyone has their own way, their own method of learning a language. But I think a lot of us can agree, especially those who've learned the tonal language, can agree that the best way to tackle tones is through a lot of listening. A lot of listening, a lot of listening, and a lot of reading, particularly out loud reading. I think a lot of us can agree on this. So this approach really works, and I think it could work for anybody because it's pretty easy to do. Well, not pretty easy. It's really easy to do. To listen to something, just turn on the radio station, sit there, listen to it an hour, 2 hours, how much ever time you have, then go through a course, go through a Teach Yourself course or any course that has dialogues. That's the key. Any course that has dialogues that you can listen to, very, very short dialogue, not long dialogues, because it can be kind of, I don't know. You don't want to have something that's too long. And I've showed you guys in the book I have for Cantonese, the learning Cantonese through stories. Like those stories are too long to try to. I mean, I guess they're fine, but I would rather go through a book like Teach Yourself with those length with that length of dialogues. I'd rather do that. So get a course like that, colloquial, and just go through the dialogues and listen to them over and over and over and over again. And then eventually you want to read out loud. You want to hear yourself produce these sounds, these tones, and try to sound like the native of the audio. That's the key. And it's very easy to do, The only thing is not everyone has the patience. Everyone is impatient. Everyone wants to see results quickly. They don't want to put that time in. That's the only problem. But I think that this method works for everyone as far as just listening. So I think this is probably the best way as far as starting at the beginning and getting criticized on tones, saying, okay, you know, you have a native speaker, hey, just correct me whenever I mess up on tones. They say, no, you're not pronouncing right. To me, I think that could be stressful. To each his own, but I think that's very, very stressful for someone to just keep telling you that it's not this way, it's not that way, because it's not going to help you. You know, sure, maybe once in a while, it could help you if you keep making the same mistake and someone just finally points it out and they say, hey man, you've been saying it this way for such a long time. I need to tell you that you need to say it like that. That's fine, but like every minute or every hour, whatever, people keep correcting you like that, it's not going to help you, you know. So I think if you want to be stress free, be relaxed when learning these tones, do it by yourself. You know, do it by yourself. Get an audio course, find some radio stations, listen to them over and over again for hours. You know, I mean, you ain't got to do them for hours and hours in a day, but I'm talking about more than past 6 months, because you're not gonna. It's gonna take a while to get used to the tones. It's gonna take a good while. I would say by the end of the year or somewhere around there, once a year approaches, then you will start feeling comfortable with the tones. You know, but like those first few months, it's not gonna. You're gonna still be making a lot of mistakes. It's not gonna. Things aren't gonna soak in. You'll get a little better, but you're still gonna be making like some occasional mistakes. So I think that's the best way, and that's how I learned the tones for Cantonese. Now, obviously, you know, for Mandarin, I got to go back and do a lot more listening or whatever. I mean, I could speak. I could speak Mandarin still. I'm still understood, but I still need to kind of work on my tones. So pretty much the same approach. Doesn't matter what language it is, with Vietnamese, Thai, or whatever, the same approach works. Get an audio course, anything with dialogues that you can listen to over and over and read out loud. Find radio stations, listen to those, and that's it. So that's my opinion. Like I said, to each his own. Some people like to be criticized. They like to be corrected every minute. Hey, to each his own. But from my experience, if you want to be stress-free, do it by yourself. You know, you can't go wrong doing it by yourself, because you're going to grow. Everyone, that's how it works. Everyone grows. Your brain just become accustomed to whatever it is you're doing, as long as you keep doing it. You know, you keep it going and let time go by. So my question, and you guys can, those of you, obviously not those who haven't really studied tonal languages, but those of you who have studied tonal languages, what do you guys think? What do you think is the best way to learn tones? What's the best way, and what was your approach? What did you do? So I will post the link to Steve Kaufman's thread. I'm on my phone right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna cook this breakfast here, and then I'm gonna have to go upstairs and add his link. So once this video uploads, you're not gonna see it right away, but I'll add it as soon as I get upstairs to my computer. All right. So that's it. Thanks for viewing. I look forward to anyone's comments, video response, and thanks for viewing. And you guys have a good one.